Avatar to see.
Peace and love, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, please like and subscribe. And I'm your host, Queen Samara. Tonight, we are talking about the benefits of sea moss or Irish moss. And there's a lot of information out there about sea moss and Irish moss, and or Irish moss as it's sometimes called. And tonight, we're going to hear from someone who's been a faithful user of it, and she's going to share with us her a testimony of how it has benefited her overall health and just many of the advantages that come with taking it. So, without further ado, I'm going to introduce our guest tonight, Queen Ruby. Ruby, you want to speak to the audience and let's share a little bit about yourself.
Oh, peace, peace, everybody. Share a little bit about myself. I'm trying to think. There's so much to share, but I'll share the highlights. I'm a former farmer,
Mm-hmm.
but now I work for a land trust. And what land trusts do is secure land, either through buying land or putting a legal easement on it. And the easement is just a document stating that a piece of land will never be developed again,
Mm.
right? In perpetuity. So I went from working the land to protecting the land. So I'm very land focused, nature
Mm-hmm.
focused. Yeah, so that's me in a nutshell. But if you're working with nature and you're working with land, you're also
Mm-hmm.
working with spirits, right? You're
Yeah.
working with spirituality. Like those go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
Like to be a nature worker is really to be a spiritual person at the same time. So that's
That's
how you, right? That's how you and I know each other through
mm-hmm.
our individual spiritual journeys, and we collided um, in the Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba Sufi school.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, I'm no longer with the school. However, the spiritual journey still continues. So, yeah, that's really it.
Give thanks. Give thanks. Thank you for sharing that. Now, tell us a little bit about your health, and then I'm gonna ask you some questions about the CMOS because you it just share, not nothing personal, but just in general, um, I guess your health challenges if you want to share that, and then we're gonna talk about how the CMOS help to benefit it.
Yeah. So, um, health challenges. It's been significant, right? Um, so I'm told, everyone on this planet, every being, every human being,
Mm-hmm.
um, has some type of trial to overcome,
Mm-hmm.
and some of us are given the trial of sickness, right, or illness, or something in the body that has to get worked out. So I was born with sickle cell anemia, and so it's been an ongoing challenge since forever, since I have existed. It's been an ongoing challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that so sickle cell anemia, at first, what it came with was fatigue,
Mm-hmm.
but there's so much more complexity to the type of sickle cell I have. So there's varieties of sickle cell. Um,
Okay.
yeah. So as you age with sickle cell, what happens that there is like organ damage, like, and the type I have, it affects like the kidneys, it affects the eyes, affects the bones. Like, these are things I just didn't know growing up. I just was like, oh, I'm just tired a
Mm-hmm.
lot.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's an iron deficiency.
Mm-hmm. At,
Um,
at what age were you diagnosed? Just out of curiosity.
oh, birth, because as soon as I was born, I went into like crisis right away. Like
Oh wow.
right
Okay.
away. Yeah. So, and that's what my mom says. My mom's like, when you were young, you were in and out of the hospital. Like you stayed in the hospital, you're just in and out. And then, and then it stabilized a little bit. in my adolescent and early teenage years. But after I turned like 20 or so, like that, like 19, 20, like it was a flare up, and it was just constant battle with it. For the past, I don't know, now coming on 20 years. 20, is it 20 years? 30 years. No, 30 years actually. Just struggling with it. And the only way I knew, I had to find out the hard way, because I'll be 50 years old next year. So the health industry wasn't what it was 20, 30, 40 years ago. I mean, there were still people who had like really high knowledge, right, of herbs, of healing. However, they weren't mainstream, and you didn't really, you couldn't find them very easily if you weren't in certain communities. So it was a struggle for me to figure out, like, how do I manage this thing that takes me out so much. And it was, that's how I stumbled upon farming, like searching for the cure. That's how I stumbled upon farming. And that's how I stumbled upon my mentor, who was like, you've got to eat plant-based. You've got to eat plant-based, and not all plants are the same. There's wild plants, and then there's cultivated plants, and then there's like highly manipulated plants. You want to stay, the less manipulated the plant, the more vigor it has, and the more vigor, right, or vitality it can impart upon you. So that leads.
That was good. That was some good advice. That was amazing. Okay.
That was right. That was a gift. I was gifted multiple times with some really incredible humans in my life. Yeah. So he gave me that knowledge, that wisdom, and and when you're farming, you're eating off the land. So I had stabilized a little bit until I couldn't farm. I couldn't do I had to farm in urban places and urban soils, growing in urban soils and growing in urban spaces is not the same as growing out in the rural, and the food quality is not the same because the soil quality is not the same. But then, the sickle cell did a number on me, like it started to affect my bones. So I had to stop farming. So, it did damage to my right hip. And so like that took me out, and I had to like do something else. I went into teaching people how to farm, teaching young farmers, until I landed here where I'm like protecting land. But going back to the type of plant, right? So he used to teach me, like, you want to go with the plant that has vitality.
Yes.
And even though sea moss isn't a plant, it's a wild organism, right? It's an algae.
It's an algae.
Right? And it's wild. It's unmanipulated by human beings, meaning that no one's in a lab messing with its DNA. It's one of the true wild foods. And the thing about a wild food, it's God's blueprint. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's the right way to put it, but God created things in a certain way for a certain purpose. And when the human manipulates it, it no longer functions as it was intended to function. So algae is one of those few, right, foods that is untampered with. And therefore it's excellent as far as healing the body.
Yes.
Yeah. And the algae truly was the mother of all plants. When we look at it, when we look at it on a historical level, all plants come out of water. Like everything, like and it's like in our spiritual studies, everything is, they say it comes out of the noon, the undifferentiated waters, right?
Yes.
That's the mother, that's the womb, the ocean, that's the womb of the planet, that's the womb of the planet.
Yes.
And the algae is the predecessor of all other plants to come. Because the plant started in the oceans, and then she came out of the ocean and she started growing by the ocean, and then she crept further onto land, right? And then started growing more and more inland. So there were stages in the plant's development, but the algae is the mother. She's still connected to the womb, and she's still the mother of all plants, if we put it that way. So we're talking about a really powerful food on multiple levels, right? On a spiritual level, on a physical level. This is a very powerful organism. And yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah. I didn't think about the deep connection between, like you said, the plant life in the ocean and how it's the predecessor for all other plant life. That's something to consider and to think about. That miracle of life and how so much is connected to water. Now, before you started using sea moss to fortify your body, what treatments were you taking or using for managing the symptoms of the sickle cell anemia?
So my mentor had created a product called Cell Nutrition. It's a blend of like green plants, wild green plants. So it's, spirulina, chickweed, just like wild greens, dried, powdered. And then I take a spoonful, mix it in water, drink it. So green is how anything green, I need to drink that regular, like literally daily. So what I used to do, and I have not been doing that now because my discipline was not where it used to be. I would alternate. One day I would have a green drink, right? And I would add his green. So I would like blend kale. My favorite was kale. I just like that was like a really great, just a green food. Kale, a little bit of ginger, coconut water, lemon, and maybe another green. I would make a smoothie out of it, and then I'd add his Cell Nutrition powder to it. And then the next day I would do a red for, like beets and berries. So I would alternate that. So one day green, next day red, one day green, one day red. And that actually kept me stabilized. It's a little bit expensive, but while I was doing it, it kept me stabilized. Yeah.
Okay. So alternating between the red and the green food, which are both rich in antioxidants and the plant pigments, or which are similar to what melanin it does for our bodies, what it does for the plant. So that's good as well. And those are very fortifying, very nutritious. They're also superfoods. So now let's talk about the sea moss. Since you've been taking it, if you want to share with us how long you've been taking it and what benefits have you seen from taking it? Like, what has it done to improve your health?
Well, I started taking it. I mean, I was taking it off and on before, but however, when I connected with you, I started taking it regularly.
Okay.
Because you were like a regular, you were a reliable supplier, and I trusted your source.
Oh, give thanks. Give thanks.
Yeah. The first thing I noticed was like, it's true. Like, it gives you, it does something to your body. Like, it makes you look a little bit more womanly. Like, it fills you out.
Oh,
in the right way. the right way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, that was the first thing I noticed. Because every time I take sea moss, now for a couple of days, and I'll be like, yeah, it's a lot of information. I'm taking a shower, and I'm just like, oh my God, whose body is that? Like, it
Oh,
doesn't,
nice. So
it doesn't,
it helped fill things out and make
it
them,
just, I'm just like, wait a minute. And it's not filling it out. Like, it's not putting weight on your waist, or, you know what I mean? Like, it's just proportionately making things look more womanly. That's just the vanity part of it. Right. And
a
the
nice
other,
benefit. That's a nice, that's good. That because that would eliminate, so many women are going under the knife for
oh no.
things like that because they're not feeling that they're looking attractive or enough or appealing enough. So that's nice to know.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think what
Okay.
it does is it might, yeah. I mean, no, I'm just guessing, but I don't know how it does it, but it does fill you out in a more
Mm-hmm.
womanly shapely way. That I noticed every time I take it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, um, Also, the other immediate thing I noticed was sex drive. Like, all of a sudden, I'm like, wait a minute, this is your sex drive increases. Like, it just increases.
Increase the libido for you. Okay.
Yeah, I was kind of astonished. And I was like, is it working on the endocrine system? Is it you know what I mean? Because
I
that
think
that would
so.
make right. It would make sense as far as raising the libido and like
Yes.
filling out the chest and the hip area. I'm like, wait a minute. So that was the vein physical, and then but on a more subtle level, it really does fortify you. Like, it's almost like it strengthens you from inside. Um,
Mhm.
so greater stamina just during the day. I'm not as fatigued at the end of the day.
That's
Um,
good.
oh yeah, it's just fortifying on multiple levels. I just
Mm-hmm.
think that's what I noticed.
Mm-hmm.
After the whole like, ooh, look at these new toys. And after that, I was like, okay, but I'm actually stronger in body. Like, oh, I
Oh,
could go.
good.
Yeah, like I could go because I get home sometimes. I'm like, I can't even like function.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm taking the CMOS, my energy level's a little bit higher. I just feel stronger. I'm less. How do I say it? I'm not like more resistant to illness, like colds and things like that. I
Oh, it's
haven't really
boosting your
gotten sick
immunity.
in a minute.
Oh, well, that's good because it does help boost your immune system. It does
Yeah.
help with that. Yeah, that's good. Okay.
Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
those are the big threes. I don't know. It's probably doing more that I am not noticing,
Mm-hmm.
but definitely what is very obvious and in your face that I can't particularly deny it is it does fill you out in a womanly way. It does increase your sex drive in a crazy way, and it
Mm-hmm.
fortifies you. Now, I
Okay.
don't I don't know if like that happens for everyone, but
Mm-hmm.
definitely for me. That's why
Okay.
I have
Well,
to slow it down because I don't
yeah.
have a man right now. So
Yeah, so results vary because other people have told me similar things or not, in addition to that. I have heard about the libido and it improves fertility. I've
mm,
heard that. So that's very possible. And it could be just it has different effects on different people's hormones. But we have another guest too that's going to join. I'm going to bring him in.
mhm.
Um, and then I'm going to let him introduce himself. Isaiah, you there? Well, while we wait for him to connect, what other Sister Ruby? So since you've been taking it and you notice an increase in um you know the changes in your body overall, you said it gives you more energy, more stamina. is it helping to reduce the number of crises that you have with the sickle cell anemia?
So the type I have, we're not crisis prone. Like I'll get a crisis, but I'm not an SS. And the SS type, they're like crisis every week, every month, like they just go into crisis a lot. I have an SC type, so it's not so much I get a crisis, but what the SC type does, it affects your energy levels. Right. So I'm easily fatigued, like easily.
Okay.
And it makes you, the SC type makes you more prone to disease. Like there's a time like I'll get a cold every other week, or I had to be like a bubble person. I couldn't go certain places because I'm like, you know what I mean? That's it for me. So there's that, the propensity to like catch anything out there. So I have to be super careful. So those are the drawbacks. And then it affects the eyes, the vision, and it affects the kidneys, right? So it has its own way of working. It's different from the SS type. And so the CMOS, right, does combat some of the major issues in the SC type of sickle cell. The fatigue, it helps with the fatigue. It helps with the fortification of the body. It helps with, so I'm less prone to getting sick. So I'm like literally have not gotten a cold in a while.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. I mean, I had like a mild crisis like about 3 months ago, but that was because I went into a high altitude situation and I forgot, I just didn't put two and two together that folks with sickle cell cannot go into high altitudes for long periods of time. So that triggered something, but outside of that, I have been really fortified.
Oh, that's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Good. Okay. And so we have another guest on the line, and it is King Isaiah. Greetings, peace and love. Thank you for joining. You can unmute. There you go. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Good. So I wanted you to also share. We heard from Queen Ruby, but I want you to share also with us. We're talking about just the testimony and the benefits of CMOS, because there's a lot of people out there that advocate using the product, and it's really one of nature's superfoods. But I wanted to have real people who have actually used it and have experienced benefits from it, to share with the listening audience, to kind of motivate people to use it if they haven't already. So I want to introduce you. So I want you to go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes.
So and then we'll talk about the CMOS.
Awesome. Yeah. So I'm just Isaiah. I work in the environmental fields, the Chesapeake Bay Lab, and farming. A lot of work with earthly type of things. And so with the CMOS, I've heard about it for a long time now, and I wasn't sure, how exactly would impact my body. Stories of how it increases energy and gives you all these different types of minerals that your body needs. So because I've never actually taken it, I've been a bit skeptical just about, what would happen. So finally, I started taking some. I got my first batch from you, and
give thanks.
Yes, thank you so much. And so immediately, I sensed a huge change, a huge impact in my body, and just in life in general, because I was able to never like a lot of times, like before I moved to Maryland when I was in New York, My friends will like call me. What's the condition where you lack sleep, like
insomnia,
but like it begins with an N, like
narcolepsy is
narcoleptic. Yeah, narcoleptic.
Person that can't stay awake.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Okay.
I always found myself having a huge hard time, huge issue in staying awake. But all my friends around the same age as me, they were able to pull all-nighters. They were able to, we would all stay up like super late at night, be out like 3 a.m. But around that 3 a.m. mark, I'm like dozing off, struggling to stay awake. Everybody's like up. They're able to go to like the sun comes up, right? And I'm just like, what in the world is going on, to the point where I cannot stay up like people my same age. So I just chalked it up to that's just how my body is. Right. When I started taking the sea moss, immediately I noticed I had no issue. If I needed to pull an all-nighter, I had the energy to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, I was it was an increase in energy 24/7. Oh, I never really felt like I was lethargic, fatigued. Before the sea moss, I was often like lethargic and fatigued and stuff like that. And I think this is the case due to lacking the minerals and being certain, like, like to be vitamin D deficient. I believe I was deficient in a lot of things. And so, as the woman shared, every part of life, energetically just increased. And I was able to, I didn't get sick as much, libido rose, and my mucus, I have a huge mucus issue.
Okay.
And it's really like excess mucus formulates, no matter what, like I eat, especially like with more gluten and stuff. When taking a sea moss, the extent of mucus in my body, or excess mucus, so to speak, it significantly dropped. And I noticed I wasn't hawking up as much phlegm. I didn't have to blow my nose as much. And I don't really get sick since I've been vegan, but it's been a few times I've gotten sick. But on the sea moss, it really is really like, I haven't even experienced being sick yet. So if I wake up in the morning and feel like my throat getting dry and this mucus build up, I've gone and taken the sea moss, and it just clears right up. So yeah.
So it works quickly. Okay. And then what I'm hearing consistent from both of you is that the increase in energy level, the libido, and then the prevention of getting sick as much. Yeah. And I think that's consistent with a lot of people are saying. It has a tremendous boost to the immune system. And one of the reasons why I started taking it, because I was around other people who swore by it, but I had a cold one time, and I read that it would help dry up mucus or rid the body of excess mucus. And so I started taking it, and then I've been on it ever since, because the first thing I noticed as well was not only it felt like I got over the cold faster, but it gave me energy, because I used to feel anemic a lot and just drained, tired a lot. I was struggling to stay awake in the afternoons. And once I started taking sea moss, I was able to get through the day and have extra supply of energy in the afternoons, instead of feeling so drained and tired all the time. Yeah. Now, have either one of you noticed any other benefits, like with your hair, skin, and nails? Because I know a lot of people have concerns with that, and sea moss gel is rich in naturally occurring collagen. So I was wondering, have you noticed any improvements in the hair, the skin, and the nails? And teeth? Either one of you can respond.
To be quite honest, I wasn't really looking at those metrics.
Okay.
However, I will say my hair has been quite luscious.
Okay.
But I didn't really put those two together. I didn't put it together with the sea moss. But I did notice recently, I was like, wow, your hair is really, you know how dreads can get. They can get a little raggedy. But it was looking quite full.
Okay.
But I didn't connect it. I didn't connect it with the sea moss because of the other overwhelming, right? Like the other glaringly obvious things that were happening. I wasn't looking for the other subtle things.
Okay. And your skin, well, you always had beautiful skin. So what about your skin, Queen?
Definitely better with sea moss. Definitely better with sea moss, for sure.
Okay. Give thanks. What about you, King Isaiah?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I haven't really paid attention to any major differences. Noticed anything with my hair or skin. One thing that seems to have improved though is like the body odor. That I would say that's one of the things that I haven't really paid attention to either, but I've noticed that I don't have such as strong a sense of a strong scent of smell since sea moss.
Maybe because it's purifying the blood. Maybe it's ridding the body of toxins. Toxins. I didn't think of that. Okay, and that's interesting.
I'm gonna pay more attention to the skin, like because now that you mention it, I don't seem to have as many blackheads. You know, I'm gonna pay more. I'm gonna definitely pay more attention to that, and nails. Like, yeah, I can't say I see any difference in that, but it's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, the skin and the hair. Yeah, I'm hearing other people say that they notice an improvement in their skin and the hair. Skin being clearer and less acne or flare-ups, and then the hair, people saying one person I know who gets sea moss from me, she said her hair started growing significantly when she started taking it. She said after taking it consistently for a few months, she said she noticed a significant hair growth, and prior to that it wasn't doing that. Yeah, so okay. Any closing remarks that you all want to share, any encouraging words or any other testimonies?
Just thank you. Thank you to Queen Tamara for just having this product available. That's because there's a lot of sea moss out there, and you sell it in raw form versus a lot of folks who sell it in gel form. And I feel like those folks are trying to make extra dollars. They're not giving you. They're giving you but so much, and you have to keep buying and buying from them. You are offering it raw at a great price that's sustainable, right? You're earning from your efforts, but you're not harming your clients or taking advantage of your clients. I thought that was something that always struck me as wow, she's really fair. She's a fair businesswoman. She's not trying to rip you off. She's actually trying to heal you. So I really appreciate your ethical conduct. while running your business. I really, really give thanks for that. And just again, thank you for making this available for the community for us to feel, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, just gratitude.
Thanks. And I do actually have this jail for some local customers who don't have the time or the means to make it. But yes, the raw sea moss, which clients such as yourself, you know, people out of state or wherever, or they prefer to make their own, and then it does a little bit goes a long way. So give thanks. Thank you for the testimony also, and then the practices. I try to be fair and equitable. And King Isaiah, you want to share?
Yeah, just want to second Ruby. Thank you so much for all done, and you know, making sure that, you know, even like people like me have the opportunity to know and have such easy access to something as amazing as this sea moss. I definitely encourage anybody listening or watching to, you know, take up on the offer of just looking into get sea moss.
Yeah.
And for sure, I 100% vouch that it would change your life, you know, and not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, because you'll see like amazing differences that will just increase your overall quality of life. You know, bring lots of happiness and joy when you see these areas improve.
Give thanks for that. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, give it a try, family. If you haven't tried it, it can help with so many health issues, especially the anemia, the which is a mineral deficiency. A lot of the health challenges that we have can be traced back to not having the right amount of nutrients in the body, not the minerals that we need, which are part of the building blocks we need to help keep our bodies healthy and fully functioning and sustained. You know, we need vitamins, we need minerals and enzymes and so many other things. And sea moss has a lot of that, including the live enzymes. So if you haven't tried it, give it a try, and, you know, let us know. Send me an email and let me know how it's improving your health. So I want to thank you both for joining us this evening and sharing your testimonies and sharing your input. Thank you so much, Queen Ruby. Thank you, King Isaiah, for taking time out of your day to join us and to share.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
All right. And we'll be in touch. So peace and love to both of you. Have a great evening.
Thank you so much. You guys too. Peace and love.
Yes.
Peace and love.
Thank you, Isaiah. Thank you, Queen Tamara.
Thank you.
Thank you.